Hey, coaches. Just getting to introduce myself. I'm Chad Stadem, head football coach up here at Sioux Falls, Washington. We're going to be talking about wide zone and combo blocks off it, and then half line drills that you guys can use at what we do. And then we try to carry it over to games. So I'm going to go through a little bit of a PowerPoint. I'm not going to spend a lot of time through huddle here. Then some of the drills, actual drill work, and then we're going to get into the actual film. So hopefully you guys can gain something from this. We're up in South Dakota, like I said, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Washington High School is been playing football since 1899. We've won 42 state championships here in South Dakota, and that's a national record. I've been here. I'm going into my 8th season. Since I've been here, we've been in 4 state championships, 4 of the last 7, and then we've won 3. So we've had success. We've had some good players. There's my contact information. There's my email. There's my personal Twitter account. I have a football account that's SFW_football. If you want, that's the Sioux Falls, Washington football account. If you want to get onto that too, that's more of our information for, our general public and strength coach and things like that. I have 14 coaches. We have a full-time strength coach. That's what he does in our program, and he's just a strength coach. So we're very similar. We're a school of about 2,000 kids in South Dakota here, and we're not the biggest either. And so we've had a lot of success here. Personally, I just finished my 17th year as a head coach, my 21st overall. Been fortunate to have coached 5 state championships, been in 9 semifinal games. The last 4 years, we won 35 games in a row at one point while I was here. And in 48 games during that span, we had over 20,000 yards total offense. I have a wife, 2 daughters, Remington and Addison, and a son named Crew. So that's my personal stuff. And then so we're going to jump right into the basics here, the zone basics. Some of you maybe are an out count guy or a point man, things like that. We are a covered, uncovered. We find that it's more simple. So when we run our inside or tight, however you want to call it, or outside or wide. I like to call it wide zone. So you're not going to hear me say outside zone. When I say wide, because the minute I say wide, immediately my running backs think they have to get outside, or if I say outside, they have to get outside. And we don't want that necessarily unless it's there. We want them to slow down and read what was available. So majority of our game is inside zone and wide zone. And so and we're a pro style game. We have a lot of wide zone. We have tags. We do run power, things like that, just like everybody else, But we build everything off the zone. I gave a presentation on run the power, how we did that. But today I'm going to be focusing on other things. So we have basic rules. I found this somewhere, and I find it true. 90% of the blocking in a zone is if it's in your zone. You're going to get that guy. So when I tell guys that don't understand zone, if you're a down blocking team, think of it the opposite. 50% chance you're going to block the person if he's head up, and a 10% chance you're going to block the person if he's backside, on just pure full zone concepts. We keep all our zone principles with all our schemes. Our run game is tied into our pass option games. Our Q can change the blocking scheme of line of scrimmages with tags. We can bluff. We can set Mike differently with our gap game. We can set the Mike to the right for zone, and then if we're going to gap to the left, we still set the Mike to the right. So we can kind of make a bluff off that aspect. And our passing game is too. Our passing game uses the same tags. So our pass and our run schemes all the same wording. So they can't necessarily pick up on that type of scheme and picking up on our bluffs. Our Qs know all of our schemes. They have to. I work with the Qs, and I spend a lot of time with those guys. We tag a word to the base zone scheme if we want to change the blocking. And I'm not going to get into that here today. I'm just going to talk about pure zone. But we do have a lot of different tags that we do. Uncovered, covered, if you guys are thinking about doing that, the depth is off the line of scrimmage. If we're covered, if you get off the line of scrimmage as much as you possibly can is what we always say. And I picked that up from Coach Trickett at Florida State when he was up here recruiting one of our linemen. He spent some time with him, and he always said, get off the line of scrimmage when you're doing wide zone as much as you possibly can. Then you don't have to worry about that bucket step being perfect and especially at high school level. And the first step is down the line of scrimmage, or a half pole step is what we do. We don't do a true bucket negative step. You guys are going to see that when we watch it. We want to get more, we want to get moving. We want to get to our landmark. And so we're going to get our depth, our Y zone, by the way, in our stance. So we're not going to crowd the line. We're going to be off the line as much as we possibly can. So that eliminates the bucket step. The second step, we want to get vertical. We are, even though we're running zone and we're running wide zone, we are a vertical team. And so if you're working your combo and your man disappears, we don't want you chasing. We want you to get vertical. And you'll see that when we do this here, guys. Okay. And we're going to work through the outside or play side number or armpit. So there's never ways to teach this. And so as you guys are looking at that, those are your landmarks. So we are really working hard to get to that. And in the bottom to the left here, I have our depth, for example, with our center. We always tell the guys to put their hand down. We put our hand down and at the belt buckle of the center. And if we can get deep. All right. And until the referees tell us to move up closer. So we'll stay deep as much as we possibly can. Uncovered rules. Now, this is where we get the depth off the line of scrimmage. So if the center's covered and the guard has to get uncovered, first step is down the line of scrimmage again with a half pull step. So if you're going to do the old punch, old wing T trap pull, that's what we're talking about right there, is a half pull step. So we're not getting a lot of depth. Not like a bucket step like some people do on their wide zone that you might see in the pro level or some college levels. Our second step, again, is getting vertical. Get vertical is the defense flows away. And so what we do is, as an uncovered, we are looking at the hip or near knee, the thigh of the down lineman. And we're going to take our first step. And when we see that near leg go away, we're going to get our eyes right back up to that backer. Otherwise, the guy who's covered is really going to have his eyes on the linebacker, so because that's who he's thinking he's going to get. So, and he just is going to feel if he's covered, he's going to come into him. He'll just stay engaged. And then the other guy is going to work up. So we tell them to get their eyes on the linebacker the minute that leg goes away. So we're working through the hip of the covered lineman. And you're going to see I have some film from early summer, and we're not good at it. And that's why I put it on here. I didn't want to show perfect film. I wanted to show bad film so I could teach you guys a little bit on that. Tidbits, we are 18 inches split. We don't want to get 24 inches on wide zone. Inside zone, we can get a little bit wider. I'm okay with that. But wide zone, 18 inches max. I want those guys to be able to reach and reach that outside. And if we can get the outside perimeter run, we want to do that. Depth by the O-line, again, very, very important. Uncovered O-lineman, you can cheat if the guy that's next to you covered, if he's head up, like a zero technique on the center, we don't mind the guard cheating. He can get, we've actually, if it's a really good nose, we've had our guards even get almost foot behind the center's foot so that he can cover that up. And again, I picked up that little tidbit from Coach Trickett down there at Florida State when he spent time down there with Jimbo. Here is the wide covered, uncovered zone aspect. If we're going to run to the left here, guys, let's go from left to right. Right tackle. Right tackle's uncovered because his down zone is head up. We always say your down zone is head up to the ear of your opponent to the play side. So that's his down zone. There's nobody in here, so he is uncovered. The right guard, head up to the center's ear, and if that guy's in a shade on the center or in a 2 or a 2-eye, then he's covered. So he's got the covered rule. The center is uncovered. The left guard, covered. The left tackle, uncovered. The tight end, covered. So when we run wide zone and we're looking at this and we're going to the tight end and against an odd front, the center has to make a decision. All right. He has to make a decision on who he's going to set the point at. If he sets the point here, then he's going to call the right guard and these two are going to work a combo to there. All right. If he sets the point to this linebacker to the left in that A gap, then he's going to call this guard to work with him to get to there. And obviously that guard is probably going to say, hey, I got to work a double here. Give me help. Or he's going to say solo. And so this guy is going to go solo out to him, and then we've got different turns for that. And then he's got this gap. So the left tackle is going to work hard in case this guy pirates back inside or stems back inside. So if you guys look at the color and shades, we're going to set the mic here to that left linebacker. All right. So that means these two are in charge of this stack. These two are in charge of this stack. These two are in charge of this stack. And we're going to either swipe or zone read this guy right here. And if we have a lock or a big call, obviously these two are going to big up on these bodies here. But we're just playing pure zone in this regard. All right. And so that's what we have. Now, if we would go to the other direction, if we were going to go away from the tight end to the short side here, now things change a little bit. You're probably going to see the center call it to that right side because we're going to get a solo here. These two can double here. These two can work this stack here. And then the tight end can work the C gap, or he can work a block gap or a big gap, who's ever on him. And, or if we're going to want to zone read this, and this guy's a 7 technique or 9, however you would call it, he's going to swipe up inside the C gap and clean it up. If I yell block, if I say big, he's going to stay on it. If I say swipe, he's going to, or brush, he's going to get outside. All right, so it does change. Now, can the center call it to the backside? He can, but he's going to have to call this guy. All right, and they're going to work double here, and then this guy's going to have a free shot up here. All right, it can, but it depends on how you want to run that play. All right, so there is against an odd front or an even front when we're going play to the left. As you guys see, he called there, and center is it's really important. I'm going to talk about his footwork here in a second. All right, here's an odd. If he set the mic, here, then obviously these two are going to be working over. So as you guys can see, I don't want to get big into that. All right, so here's some of the combos. Like, we're going to break it down, and we like to break it down half line, 2-on-2, 2-on-3. We don't want to necessarily use all the full line, so our little old linemen will go against each other, and we're going to see this with no contact in regards to pads in the film. And you guys can see how, against a stack, this is what we want to do if we're zoning to the right. If we're against a 3, this is what we're doing on that right. Because we've got to imagine, guys, that these guys are they're gonna skate. They're gonna get over here and shoot a gap. We've got to make sure that we've got someone to cover up that gap. All right. So these are the kind of drills we have. And as you guys are getting going here, give me a holler. I'm gonna go a little slow speed here. And here's the drill, guys. And so to the left, we have our center and our left guard working here. Okay, both these were all staters this year. This is a young tight end, and this is a freshman tackle. All right, and so they're gonna work. We're just working stacks. This is fall. This is the first part of June. All right, in the early summer. All right, and so as you guys were seeing, we're working stacks. Now let's pay attention here to this center guard here, as they are gonna snap the play. What we want this guard. You guys can see how our center. You can see how the guard's back here, guys. See how close his split is. The split over here is a little long for me right here. That's a little long for me, but these guys are experienced. He's off the ball. It's pretty well set up well right now. That right foot is important for that center. He has got to get to here, and he has got to think, I got to go through that armpit and get to that guy, get to that stacked backer. That's his goal. And then if this guy trails with him, moves with him, then he knows he's going to be engaged. And then this guy needs to get hip to hip and think, I'm going to overtake this nose. That's his primary goal. And you're going to see they don't do a very good job. So, and this is one of the first reps in early June for us. In South Dakota, we don't get to have spring football, guys. So June's our first time that we actually get to work with our fellas. So you guys can see how pretty good first step here by both of them. Pretty good by first step. And you can see the center's already got his nose. He's got a bad punch with his left hand, but because he has to keep his elbow in here. But you could see he's in pretty good position right away. All right. He's a Division II football player at a local school, so he's a good center. And then he is going to work up here. Now, the first step for this left guard is not bad either. Like, he's a little high, but his second step needs to crotch that nose. And he is working the same spot. He's working that armpit. He's working to rip through that armpit. And they're right there on that second step. You can see the center is doing an excellent job, but the guard took a more vertical step on that second step. He needed to come a little bit more to the crotch. You can see now his foot is aiming right there. He needs to aim to there, to that where the football is right there. He needs to get to that crotch of that man. So that's where he's wrong in that regard. And you see how it separates? The center's good. But then the guard's beat, because if in a real world action, that knows if he was doing this, he's going to split that gap. He's in the backfield. All right. So the guard's got to do a better job in that regard. If you look over to the right, the tight end, the young tight end, and the freshman tackle, too far. You see how the split is too far? For him to get to that wide technique, if that guy was head up on that tight end needs to bring him closer to this guy. All right. That's unfair to that tackle. It's hard unless he's super athletic and he can outrun him. Now he has to almost run him to the sideline to get to that. So as you guys can see, that's not a very good rep over there. And then that young tackle, he was more locked in on that armpit. So we got some work to do those guys. Okay. Now, second rep, you guys can see how the left guard now on the left-hand side, he decided to split down even more. So he cut his split almost a foot behind the center, and he backed himself up because he really wants to get that outside shoulder of that nose. And he did this on his own because he understands our zone concepts. Okay. And as you guys can see, that right foot step of that center is important as he snaps. He's got to get that right foot moving right away. There, that's not bad. He, again, is in good position. Elbow in, thumb out. He should be putting the ball right there on that near side number because he's working through that armpit. And now you guys see that first step by that guard, much better angle. His second step now, it needs to come right here through the crotch of that nose. All right. And that would help immensely with him getting to his landmark. There, little bit. You guys see he's still inside that second step. He's still inside. He needs to work it more here. All right. But he's doing an excellent, much better job. If he gets his foot here, now we've got hip to hip. Now it's much better. And they do a much better rep there, guys, than they did the previous one. As you guys can see, again, you see how that second step's important. That second step is, and he really wants to get vertical. He's a big physical kid, guys, deadlifts over 600 pounds, he's just and he wants to get in and work, two-time All-Stater for us up here in South Dakota. And I respect that, but he knows that he needs to get better. Okay. And he's got to work on that second step. Now, the one thing about so many times these linemen is they get scared of their backside zone. And they've got to trust that your partner to your backside is going to cover that up. Okay. So if we had a 4-eye or something, or, don't worry. He's got to take care of this A gap. He's got to take care of that A gap to the right. And again, these guys over here, we have two groups going over here, young tackle, young tight end. And, again, I think the tight end did a little bit better job, but again, that young tackle, he's not getting hip to hip. So you guys see the difference in, the two-man drill, and you can rep these, and we call it working stacks. Okay. We start off with a 3-3 look type stack. And then we work onto a 4, and we really are concentrating. We want to it's easier to teach the wide zone against a 3-3 stack, because then the guys know they're working, the old stacks or the 4-4 stack or however you want to call it. It just works a little bit easier for them. Okay. And now we're going to change it up a little bit on this. We put an outside shade. So the center has got a shade to the strong side, to the right. And again, these guys are wide over here, but we've got an outside shade. So he's probably going to call solo to this guy. Solo, more likely, I'm got him solo, but you need to take care of that and climb, all right? He's thinking, okay, odds are I'm going to have to fight through this guy and still get to that guy. He still thinks I got to get to linebacker. He still thinks I'm going to overtake the nose, all right? And so on the shade, and you guys can see he even cut a split down again, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. If this is not a very good nose, I'm going to say, hey, keep our splits wide. But I'm okay with the guys cheating a little bit here and there. And you guys can see good first steps by these two experienced linemen. Second step, look where it's at again, guys. Where should it be? Crotch. And you can see this guy moved with the center. Okay. And again, this is not live contact, but And then they end up doing a nice job of overtaking that. I just see it at left guard again. That left foot has got to get to the crotch. Get that knee. That knee is stationary. Now he's got to get that. His landmark is most important. All right. Is that armpit. He's got to get there. So that second step is going to set the angle. First step is getting him wide. Second step is going to get the angle. Third step, he should be getting vertical off that. Okay, so 1, 2. Now he should be in a better position on the third step with that right foot going back down, getting vertical. All right. And again, you guys can see over here on the right side, we're not getting good reps out of the young guys, are we? And again, I want you to understand they don't understand the zone game very well. So as they're doing this, boom, they're getting the basic idea of how the zone is supposed to work, but they don't have a full feeling of it. All right. But the one thing that you're noticing here, watch his eyes. His eyes are on that thigh. See where his eyes are at? He's looking right at that knee. That's where he needs to be looking. All right. Because that's telling him, even though everything else is correctable, guys, we can fix all this with reps. But he is understanding, I got to keep the eye on that knee. If that knee was coming to me, I'm going to overtake him. All right. And so he does a nice job. And being a freshman, he's understanding that already. All right. Again, here's another rep. Again, these two are almost in unison. Looks good. His eyes immediately still on that knee. He's looking at hip. You can see him eyeing that hip. All right. So if we come back, first step, second step's a little bit better this time. All right. Little bit better because that guy flowed away. All right. But he's still a little bit better than what he was. Okay. Then he shoves him off. So like this right here is, I don't mind this, guys, because if this guy's eating that up and this eating this up, there's a great, we get the middle of the line of the football field with the running back. All right. If they're going to do this, because right here we've got him beat. All right. We like this. And you guys can see the center is still working hard. He's still trying to get that outside shoulder and that nose is going with him. And so you guys can see this is okay. This is a good double. I'd like to get a little closer, obviously hip to hip, but they're both, he's still thinking I'm getting linebacker. I'm still getting linebacker. There it is. And you guys can see, so understanding the scheme. All right, now half line. Here we go to half line. So we got center, guard, tackle. All right, and we're going to zone it to the left. So we're going to set the mic. He's setting the mic to this guy. All right, so he's calling this guy the mic. These two are going to work that combo. They're going to work that stack. So working that two-man drill, it really helps out in understanding where these guys come. Now we've broken it down. You were working together. We're working in tandem. We're working in tandem instead of the whole 5, 6, 7 guys. Okay, who's got who? You work in your group. You work with your partner. All right, and so you guys are going to see. All right. Again, this is that left guard. Where should his eyes be? Right there on my knee. All right. And he kind of quick. He sees me go away right away. So he should give up. He see how he sticks his left arm out. Again, we don't want him flying like a bird. I'd rather him keep that elbow out and throw a punch with the heel of his hand with his thumb going up to make sure and shove him onto that tackle. I'm being very light on this. Then he can climb. All right. Now, again, we have an experienced right guard here, and he, again, is looking there. You guys can see he peeks eye on that knee. That knee went away, and so he cheated right away. He went vertical right away. So, again, you guys can see experience between these three experienced O-linemen here, all right? And this is that young left tackle. He knows, okay, I've got a solo here. And then what I always tell our guys, if that D lineman or linebacker wants to run away in the wide zone like this and you can't get that outside shoulder, I use a term, my dad was my football coach. My dad would say, drive them to their mom and dad to the sideline. Take them and sit them in the stands. All right. If they want to run like that, great. Widen the hole as much and drive them out of bounds if you can. That way, it just creates a huge gap. It gives another way for our running backs to have another gap to have. Okay. All right. So here's another example. All right. Obviously, we don't have anyone back here. but we have a shade. The center is going to call the mic here because he's going to let these two work in tandem. All right. And you guys can see how that works out pretty nice. And again, he should be eyeing that knee. He should be eyeing that knee. All right. And he should be eyeing that. He should be getting that armpit. So that's the cues that you guys should be using for your lineman. And so you can see how he's drifting away. Now, when he's still trying, this young lineman on the right, the young tackle on the right, he's still trying to, like right here, that guy's, he should just drive him. Just get your inside in. He's got pretty good elbows inside, hands are inside. He's doing pretty well, but you can see him. He's still thinking, I've got to reach that outside shoulder. But at some point, if that guy's going away, boom, and he's fading, now drive him. Just drive him to the sideline. And so that he'll get better at that. But as you can see, the young right guard, or the experienced right guard there, look at him. He's got his eyes right there on that knee. That guy's going away. His eyes popped right back up. So you see how we said, get physical, all right? How we want to get physical, and we want to get north and south as much as we possibly can, even in the wide zone, all right? Again, here's another one. My running backs coach comes over here now with a running back. We're going to add them in, and we're going against a stack look. Okay, so that changes things a little bit, okay? Now, we've got another lineman, and we got some tight ends had to go over and do some skill work. So we had our experienced lineman over here. So what we're doing is going center, guard, tackle here, okay? And so these two are going to work. Obviously, we'd have this, solo, okay, on the force player there, all right? And so that is what, how we would work if we were unbalanced or even with the tight end. So we're going to show this here, and that we're getting the running backs to incorporate. And you guys can see the center still, I know he doesn't have a partner working with him because we're going half line. So we're giving a little bit, and he's still working towards me as the Mike backer. And we're doing this in token. We're letting this guy just kind of flow soft. Remember, he needs to get on his eyes on that knee. You see how he does that? He still needs to come. His second step, his first step is too stationary. Watch that right foot. He needs to gain something. He needs to get that half pull, all right? That would get him in a better position. He would be right there, all right? Now his second step, he could crotch that stack, all right? Even if that stack goes away, he could shove the stack onto the tackle and climb. But if that stack comes inside and spikes inside here, he's in trouble, all right? Because he has given up his outside. So he needs to do a better job at half pull, all right, and get to where he needs to go, because his primary goal is to get to that armpit, remember, all right? And so that first step does not do well in that aspect, okay? And I know it's a token drill, but it helps the running backs get a feel for it early in the year. We got a young running back there. All right, so we're going to get to film here. Okay, now we are in, facing an odd front team. And as you guys could see, we are in one running back, a 12, close trade look here. And so we're going against cover 4. And you guys are going to see here when we watch this, I want you guys to pay attention. They're working stacks because we got an odd front. So these two are working there. These two are working there. He's got a solo. Okay? He got a solo. All right? And you guys are going to see that if we just pay attention to that, to this right guard right here. Okay? His eyes. You see his eyes? He's on that D lineman's knees. You can see it. He's right there. Okay? He's focusing on that. And then we get to the end zone view. You see now he climbs. Engages. All right? That's exactly why we work those combo drills. All right? Now, as our tight end, now he's a 6'7" tight end that's playing at South Dakota State. I would have liked to see him take a little bit better footwork. He put that right foot down a little bit too quick. All right? But he's got a force player that's pretty wide, and we get to see that, okay? All right, backside here. They're stemming a double A gap. The center is still calling it to that. All right? And that center is Will Farniak. He's down at Nebraska right now. These two are going to work that stack still. And you guys see how, like, you guys see how they get that nose. If you guys pay attention to that nose, you see how they're working. That guy's not, that guy didn't trigger. He backed up. And this nose is trying to flow, and he's not doing a terrible job, but they stay tight on that double team. And remember how I told you it's okay if they did that in that drill? Because that's what happens. So we get back to the end zone. It's a little, there's what it looks like here, guys. Not clear, but there it is. And you can see that stack. And you guys are going to watch that right guard again. If you guys watch the right guard, his eyes are right there. You see where his eyes are? On that guy, on that 5 technique. Doesn't, he climbs. So there's that end zone view again. And we ran a lot of boot, and I tagged cap on this. So we're going to leave that C gap player, and they blitz through the B, and our tight end on the backside. You know, he should have blocked that 5 technique, but I called cap and he went C with that call. But you guys could see how that works with that in that sense. Okay, so here's another way to run it. This is against a stack, and this is a way to run out of with a fullback on a play side insert. And we run a play side insert. You guys can see he's going to read the C gap. We're going to insert him on the first window on the front side. So he's going to read the same read as the running back. So it's not hard for him to understand that. And so what these guys are going to do, we've got a shade. These two are going to work here. These two are going to work here. He's going to have a solo. Okay. There's different ways to block this, guys. We will sometimes against this stack, like, look, we can box it. Whereas I could tag Y zone and say box, and then that means the tight end is going to help out on that stack, and we'll let the fullback come and kick out the force. All right. That's a game plan type of adjustment. But against a full zone here, which we are doing, the tight end decides he's going to full zone it. And so that tells that H-back, that fullback right here, that I'm probably going to insert through the C. All right. And so as you guys are looking on here, and obviously our quarterback's communicating with a gift up top, but we've got a shade. You see that? And that shade worked hard to the tight end side. Again, there's the guard eyeing that knee. You guys can see that. And they stacked themselves hard on the line of scrimmage. He's soloing, and that tackle there is getting that work. And you guys can see they've done a pretty good job. Okay. And the defense has done a pretty good job of fitting all the gaps. All right. And again, we're a pretty good boot team. So you guys can see how they're paying attention to that. So there's the insert. So as you guys are talking, you know, like, so they're really flowing hard. They're slanting hard to our tight end. And you guys can see our guys have done their zone steps, and they're still working their combos. Because remember, we did those 2-on-2 drills. You work with your partner. He's saying solo. So he's calling for a combo here. He's calling for a combo here. So our tackle's going solo, tight end's going solo. The rest of the boys are working in tandem. And then actually the tight end's working in tandem with this fullback. The fullback's going to play off his call. He says, I'm taking out here. He inserts, you guys can see. There it is. And our receiver does a nice job blocking on that. So that's an example of inserting with a fullback. Here's another way out of 11 set. And you guys are going to see that, again, they're really going to do a nice job. The defense does. They get penetration. But even if they get penetration, with the Y zone, why I like the Y zone? Because if you block it well enough, you're going to get, and your running back's a good running back, you're going to give them options. So you guys are going to see how, you know, they penetrate with 5-man pressure here. And our left tackle does, you know, he's got a 3 technique. All right. But he should be calling solo. These two should be working up to there. These two are working back to here. And then we have here. Okay. And what you guys are going to see is they're going to blitz. Okay. And we didn't necessarily pick it up well, but we do block this fairly decently. All right. And so they overload the weak side. Farniak gets a clean rip. So our tackle and our guard pick up the A and B pretty clean. All right. And then so our guard here gets beat across his face, and our tight end gets beat across his face. But what we do is we open up the middle of the field because they blitz themselves out of it. And you guys can see right there. And our running back was pretty special running back. You know, he set state record in rushing for 11-man histories. But you can see how he sticks his foot in it and he gets vertical. All right. And so that's one reason why I like the wide zone, even though we got beat on the front side with our left guard and our tight end. I mean, at least these guys knew, darn, I'm getting beat. And you see how they're fighting and keep pushing them to the sideline? That gives our running back options. He actually has a two-way go here. If you guys see it, he puts his foot down, gets vertical, or he has this gap. All right. And because these guys, you know, even though they got beat, they stuck with, engaged, and they did a nice job. And our running back hit the gap and went vertical. All right. And here's another way again out of a 22 set. We bring in a big nose, 290-pound nose. We're going to go wide zone against this 6-3 look here, okay? And we're under center. And again, we have all the gaps filled, right? And so it goes back to what we saw before. We have a fullback. The tight end tells the fullback, I'm taken out. So that's going to basically tell him, I've got to insert, all right? And they hand signal that in. And the fullback, it's real easy for him because we just tell him, is the A gap closed? Yes. B gap closed? Yes. C gap open? Yes. Pay attention to the tight end. He'll tell you where to go. Okay. If he's going to box that, because the tight end could box it, then he can kick it out. All right. And that's the only thing he really needs to pay attention to if all the gaps are preoccupied. So as you guys are looking on here, again, good boot game in the back. You can see how the fullback inserted. And, you know, they were panthering us. They were getting pad level down. You guys could see it. Our lineman did a nice job of knowing that they were going to do that, and they matched pad level. And even though that guy was shooting down to cut our legs down, we still doubled off that. And so that left tackle did a really nice job. You can see how he comes off that double. He works, even though he was getting grabbed, he still was able to get his hips out and take that landmark that we want him to take, that outside armpit, okay? And then the fullback runs through the C gap. And it's pretty easy for our lineman to, and you got to remember this, it's a D tackle, guys. And he thinks that if I get to run and hit somebody and I don't get in trouble for it, I'm having fun. And so he's just looking to hit someone as hard as he can. And he does, but he doesn't necessarily run it the way we're supposed to. Okay, same game, same situation. All right. And we're going to come back here. And you can see they're struggling to line up because we're tempoing it in. And now this is where our tight end boxes it, guys. Okay, so he tells fullback, I'm boxing it. All right. And so see how he boxed it? Then our receiver came in and made a nice block. But you can see our fullback, when he came through, he's thinking, I'm gonna see edge pressure, and I'm just gonna go and light somebody up. You can see him getting a running start because he thinks he's supposed to get pressure. And he takes care of that work. You guys can see him. But you know, because our receiver comes in and does a really nice job of cleaning the edge off. But you can see that fullback's running hard because he thinks he's gonna, and the receiver hits the force. So that's another way to do it, gentlemen. If you want to do this, okay. Here's another way to do it again off of a tray look, 11-man set. Here's wide zone again with the zone read on the backside. All right, and so if you come back here, you get against your forefront. All right, obviously these two are going to work up here. These two are going to work up here. We're going to get a solo. All right. Again, working our combo. That's all we need to really work on in practice, right? Okay. And it made a nice read for that running back. All running back's paying attention to, guys, is the open C gap. Okay. He's going to get his eyes on that. And the minute he sees the young tackle go out, he's cutting up inside. All right. Here's out of another wing set. Okay, we got a shade again. So we're working here, here. We do have the numbers. All right. They're not lined up well against this set, but we do have the numbers so that we should be able to reach that. And that's why we're able to get outside. You guys can see how the tight end boxed. And that's why now all of a sudden it became a wide zone. Okay, and this is with a trade. We shift the tight end tackle or wing over. Again, middle of the field opens up. And the one thing, if you guys pay attention, generally, if the center reaches his guy, it's going to open up outside. If the center doesn't, it's going to happen inside. Okay, so you can see the center's pressing the flow, and then the cutback's right down the middle. All right, and so you guys go back to that again. You know, they did a nice job of really flowing hard to our overset, but since the center, you see how he came flat. You guys did an excellent job. That's why he's at Nebraska. But you see how he drove that, and we sealed the backside. I mean, that hole was huge. All right. So here again is another way to do it. We're trading. Again, remember how I told you, if that center reaches his guy and gets it outside shoulder, the play is going to happen outside. If the center doesn't, and you guys can see the center, he's engaged with a really good football player here, by the way. You see how he's beating him across face? There it is. Okay, that's the wide zone. I usually base everything off the center's block. I always tell our running backs, if you see the center's numbers, you better be cutting back. If you see the center's butt to the play side, you better be getting outside. All right, because that generally is what's going to happen. All right, so with our wide zone, we talk a little bit of pin pull here before I leave. We do a lot of run a pin pull, and all pin pull is, guys, is wide zone exchanging gaps. That's all it is. And for example, like we will call an exchange call, just a single exchange call, like we'll call wide zone left. And one of the terms that we have used in the past is a tight end tackle call would be a swap. All right. And they're going to swap responsibilities. In the traditional wide zone, these two would be working in tandem to here. But if we call swap, he's just going to pin him down and let the tackle pull around and get it. Because if this guy's a horse, all right, and the tight end says, I can get him, we're having a hard time reaching him, he's really been pirating this, let's just pin him like a traditional down block. And let's wrap this guy around, pull, and we'll fold around it, okay? That is one way that's one way we can do it without actually running all pin pull. And we can do it across the line with everything. You know, we could actually do it here when where the guard would kick out here and the tackle would wrap around inside on another fold block too. So here's the actual pin pull, and our pin pull rules go back to a basic. If you got someone in your down zone, you're pinning him, right? If there's nobody in your down zone, you're pulling, all right? And so that's where the pin pull call comes in. So we flip responsibilities. We're wide zoning left, but if you have a guy in your down zone head up or to your right, you got to pin him, all right? And then so that's why these two marry each other so well. And you got to remember, like, these two are working in tandem. He's pinning, he's kicking out force. These two are working in tandem on this shade. Guard's pinning, he's hunting that play side linebacker is what we call it. All right. And so there's pin pull. That's how it can happen. If we have a technique here, guard and center, or wide zone backside, guard and center get to pull. Okay. And if we see guard's got to understand, if the tight end's numbers are out, he's got to insert and get force. Center's going to insert and get Mike. Okay. And here's another way to practice it, as you guys are seeing. And all they're doing is they're working an interior shade. So a down zone, these guys they're skip pulling around. Okay. So let's go back on it again. If you have any questions, guys, just ask. Good down pull, good skip pull around. And that's all it is, okay? And we do two-man drill. So we do wide zone, two-man, skip pull, pin pull, drill, two-man. And the guys can rep and rep and rep. And we do it with backside guard, front side guard, guard tackle, guard or tackle tight end. And again, these guys are working it. All these different lineman groups. And right now we're working center guard, we're working tight end tackle over here. Working on skip pulls around. Then we do half line off it with the running backs. And again, when we pin pull, we tell our center hunt the mic. All right, hunt the mic. Here's pin pull again. It's against your traditional 4. And I always tell my running backs, keep your eye on the center. The center is going to take you to the promised land. So get on the center when we run this. We really want to get on the center. Okay. And here's an example of pin pull. Guys are working, and all we're doing is we're going to swap this here. Okay. That's an example of running pin pull without just running wide zone and 2 guys actually swapping responsibilities. And this is against an odd front. I'd like him to cheat a split maybe a little bit better. All right, as you guys can see, if we had this guy right, I would probably bring somebody in, all right, to take care of that. I'd probably bring a wing in or a fullback into that regard. All right, so here's just your traditional against that over front or an under front. And you guys can see we got a strong side shade and a 6-eye, so we're going to get a pin, force, Mike. Okay, backside, we're still following rules. Okay, these 2 are going to combo to that side, so they're still following their zone rules. That's why I like pin pull. It's just easy to teach. All right, and you guys can see how they're going to pin pull. Farniak, you can see how he's hunting. He's hunting. All right, he's gonna. If that guy would trigger and fill that gap, he would too. But if this guy flows over the top, he will. This tackle, guys, is flowing and getting leverage. Okay, so we're here. You're skip pulling. They're both looking at their guys. You can see Farniak actually stop. Bam. Finds him. There it is. Okay. So our left guard does a really nice job of getting off that. Give him a good lever, getting it inside. We block this fairly well, guys. And so we're off to the races on this pin pull. Here's another one. Okay. Now that you guys can see front side, we do a really nice pin. And again, if you guys go back, you guys can see our center. Does again, he's hunting that Mike now, remember. So he's coming through. He's got his eyes on him, guys on him. He sees the guy scrape, comes around the corner, goes around the pin, right? Here's pin pull again, where the guard and center go, but we're zone reading backside. All right, so I'm gonna be done there, guys. Appreciate your time. There's my contact information again if you need to get a hold of me. And like I said, we really slow it down and try to, we don't like to go full line in our indie. We really want to go 2-on-2 or 1-on-1s and half lines, and so our guys know what's going on here. But if you have any questions, go ahead and contact me. There's my stuff. Justin, thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. If anybody has any questions right now, feel free to drop in the chat. Now, like Coach said, his contact information is up there. So if you want to reach out to him afterwards and, talk some ball and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on, Coach, and, giving this great presentation for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin.
Yes, sir. Yes,
good
sir.
Easter, guys.
Coach, you got one just came in. Did you?
Yes, sir.
Did you slide on the pin? Oh, do you have a slide on the pin pull rules?
A slide on the pin pull?
Yeah, the rules for it.
Do you want me? They want me to go back to my slides?
Yeah, yes, sir. Just for the rules for it.
All right. Let me get. Maybe it's gonna let me go back. Let me close it down here. And on my slides, on my pin pull, I don't have my rules are. If I have rules, guys, it's pretty simple. Okay, if we are going to the right here, let's say, if you have a guy, if we're going to the right and we want the pins are okay. This tight end says, okay, I have a guy in our gap. He's in charge of the C gap. I'm in charge of the D gap. But there's a guy in the gap. He's gonna pin. I have to pin because there's a guy head up on me or in our gap between my partner. I have to down block. All right. Since the tackle does not have anybody in his gap, he's free to pull. Okay. The guard, I've got a shade here. I've got a down block. Then the center gets to pull. So those are the rules. Basically, like I tell the guys when we do pin pull, wide zone right. Okay. Guard has strong A, or center has strong A, guard B, tackle C, tight end D. Right. If we go pin pull, let's go back from tight end down to center. Those are your down zone. Now we go opposite. Even though we're going right, let's think opposite. If anybody's in that zone, you got to come down. If you don't, you get to go free and play. All right. And that's why, like, when we start teaching it, we teaching it within that 2-man drill. All right. And when we do the 2-man drill, we basically saying, if we're running wide zone right, you two would be working there, right? You two would be working to these two, this stack, right? All we're doing is we're switching responsibilities on a pin pull. We're just going to, if I call pin pull, switch responsibilities. And that a lot of times that helps the guys' minds out. They go, okay, so I'll just switch. I normally would have C, but now I have D. Yep. And so the tight end goes, oh, I normally would have D, now I have C. We're just switching responsibilities. And I go, exactly. So that's where we help. Hopefully that can help guys out a little bit. Like, again, I don't have a slide or rule. I've done it so long, guys, that I can just teach it, and I don't have like necessarily a rule book on it. Because we follow our zone rules. And if you follow your zone rules, and like this is an example of the pin pull on the diagram right there. I mean, backsides from center on is always zoning to the call. And front side, if you have someone in the down zone in between you, you've got to pin you. You and your partner, you got to pin it. So you just got to know that. So hopefully that helps you. I've been teaching it for so long, I can make sense to my kids pretty easy.
Another question here, Coach. How do you teach your skip pull technique?
We do it one behind. So if I'll get to film here, and hopefully I think this is the skip here pull. So we go. You guys will see that. Watch the left guard. He's doing a pull trap here. So we're just working pull steps there. I don't know if I can probably do it better on film with Farniak. Okay, so if you watch our center in our tackle here, our tackle's going to pull and our center is going to pull. So if you guys watch them, they're going to kick back. Okay, so their play side foot, the left foot's kicking back, the right foot's crossing behind, and you guys can set it while the right foot is coming behind the left foot's going to move wide. So if we come back and watch it again, watch the left tackle. Sit, bam, get vertical. All right? Get around the trash is what we say. So if you get to the center, you can see how he drives back and that with that right foot getting set and that left foot's already set. Now they're running. Okay, so what we do is we're kind of a tapioca kind of deal, like boom, and we work on that. You guys can see it. Skip, so that if I'm going left, my left foot's my drive foot. All right. And so I'm gonna drive back with my left foot. My right foot's gonna come behind my left foot and plant. And then while that's happening, my left foot is gaining width again. So what we're trying to do when we skip pull, guys, is we're working to get around the pin and don't get caught up. If this guy really beats the pin block and getting caught up, we want to get around it. And so we work 2 different pulls. We work the traditional trap pull, and we work the skip pull. So hopefully that answers that. So you can see how he gets that left foot behind, plants it, gets around, gets up. So we work that every day before pre-practice.
Good deal. Anybody else? Last minute questions for Coach? I think we're good, Coach. Once again, man, thanks for jumping on. And yeah, I hope everybody has a happy and safe weekend, man. And enjoy your Easter and, stay safe out there.
All right. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it again. Sir. Have a good weekend, guys.